Is there any value to a switch case implementation in Python? Recently, I saw some discussions online about how there is no good switch case equivalent in Python. I realize that there are several ways to do something similar, some with Lambda, some with dictionaries. There have been other Stack Overflow discussions about the alternatives. There were even two PEPs, PEP 0275 and PEP 3103, discussing, and rejecting, the integration of switch case into the language. I came up with what I think is an elegant way to do switch case. It ends up looking like this. So, my questions are, is this a worthwhile creation? Do you have any suggestions for making it better? I put the include file on GitHub, along with extensive examples. I think the entire include file is about 50 executable lines, but I have 1,500 lines of examples and documentation. Did I over-engineer this thing and waste a bunch of time, or will someone find this worthwhile? Edit. Trying to explain why this is different from other approaches. 1. Multiple paths are possible, executing 2 or more cases, which is harder in the dictionary method. 2. Can do checking for comparisons other than equals, such as case less underscore than 1000. 3. More readable than the dictionary method, and possibly if/alif method. 4. Can track how many true cases there were. 5. Can limit how many true cases are permitted, i.e. execute the first 2 true cases of. 6. Allows for a default case. Here's a more elaborate example. Here's an example attempting to show how switch underscore case can be more clear and concise than conventional if/else. The big savings is in long if statements where the same switch is repeated over and over. Not sure how frequent of a use case that is, but there seems to be certain cases where this makes sense. The example file on GitHub has even more examples.
You get the idea. Why? Yep, dispatch tables are the way to go in Python. I just got tired of writing them over and over, so I wrote a class and some decorators to handle it for me.
So, my questions are, is this a worthwhile creation? No. Do you have any suggestions for making it better? Yes. Don't bother. What has it saved? Seriously? You have actually made the code more obscure by removing the variable x from each alif condition. Also, by replacing the obvious alif with if you have created intentional confusion for all Python programmers who will now think that the cases are independent. This creates confusion. The big savings is in long if statements with the same switch is repeated over and over. Not sure how frequent of a use case that is, but there seems to be certain cases where this makes sense. No. It's very rare, very contrived and very hard to read. Seeing the actual variables involved is essential. Eliding the variable name makes things intentionally confusing. Now I have to go find the owning switch function to interpret the case. When there are two or more variables, this completely collapses.
There have been a plethora of discussions that address this issue on Stack Overflow. You can use the search function at the top to look for some other discussions. However, I failed to see how your solution is better than a basic dictionary. Although, adding a default clause is non-trivial with this method. However, your example seems to replicate a complex if/else statement anyway. Not sure if I would include an external library for this.
Imho, the main reason for the switch statement to exist is so it can be translated/compiled into a very fast jump table. How would your proposed implementation accomplish that goal? Python's dictionaries do it today, as other posters have shown. Secondarily, I guess a switch statement might read more clearly than the alternatives in some languages, but in Python's case I think if/a/lif/else wins on clarity.